I am Dr. P. Sureshkumar, formerly Professor and Head, Radio Tracer Laboratory of Kerala Agricultural University. Basically, I am a soil scientist. Did my degree from the elsewhere College of Horticulture, now the College of Agriculture, Vellanikara, MSc from College of Agriculture, Vellani, and PhD from IRI. Today, I am going to talk about the fertility management and the status of fertility in the Kerala scenario. This class, for convenience sake, we are dividing it into three parts. In this part, that is part 1, I am going to discuss more about the topography, climate, type of soils, and based on the soil or as an integral of the soil, we may get the agroecological zonation and agroecological units of Kerala. Even though it is a small state, from north to south and west to east, we have got different types of soil, different type of microclimate. So accordingly, fertility management and soil health management also should be different. So more scientific and precise way of dealing the soil health management is based on agroecological units, or rather agroecological unit based management of soils. Also for fertility management, this applies. So in part 1, I am going to discuss more about agroecological units, the soils and its variability in our state. Let us see what is soil. Of course, soil, the term SOIL, can be expanded as source of infinite life. Also, on a spiritual term, we can say it is the soul of infinite life. And the formation of soil or the process of development of a soil, so-called soil, needs maybe more than 800 to 1000 years or even more just to form 1 inch of soil. But remember, under our climate, a heavy rain can leach out or wash out this entire soil in no time. Now, the peculiarity of our state, it is a narrow, tiny state on the southernmost end of our country. Even though it is so small geographically when compared to the total area of the country, we are fortunate to have almost 8 of the 12 soil orders in soil classification. Because of that itself, the soil in Kerala is having wide variety of properties and characteristics. So definitely we need scientific soil management strategies. Before going to that strategies, let us see the agroclimatic zonation of our state. See, Kerala state comes under the part of region 19 of agroecological regions, which is called Western Ghats and Coastal Plains, hot, humid, perhumid ecoregion, which has got 2 subregions. 19.2 is Central and South Sahyadri, hot, moist, subhumid subregion, whereas 19.3 is the Coastal Plains, again hot, humid to perhumid. This agroclimatic zonation, you can see the map of which that green narrow belt on the Konkan region, including Kerala, that comes under subregion 19.2 and 3. Now this agroecological subregion of Kerala is divided into different zones and agroecological units. Before that, let us see the topography of Kerala. I wish to visualize Kerala state as a macro watershed with an annual rainfall of more than 3000 mm with variation between zones and regions. Also, there are 44 rivers starting from the Western Ghats, of which 41 are flowing towards the western direction and ending in Arabian Sea. So, what I mean to say is, these rivers can be considered as the water channels of this macro watershed of our state, starting from the Sahyadri or the Western Ghats towards the Arabian Sea. So, Kerala, in brief, can be called as a watershed which is sloping from Western Ghats to Arabian Sea. It is a slopy land, starting from high ranges to the Arabian Sea. There is variation in climate, there is variation in slope, topography or relief, variation in vegetables, altitude varies. Definitely soil also varies. So these variations actually give rise to a spectrum of soil types, even though the entire state comes under tropical perhumid climate. Now, more details about agroecology of Kerala, which, as we know from the school level itself, is divided into 5 agroecological zones. These agroecological zones are the coastal plains, midland laterites, the foothills, the high hills, these 4 as per the topography, plus an entirely unique Palakkad plains with the difference in climate from these regions. So these 5 agroecological zones again have been divided into 23 agroecological units thanks to Nair and co-workers from National Bureau of Soil Survey and Land Use Planning based on climatic variability, landforms and soil. Let us see which are these agroecological units. Of these 23, first group comes under coastal plains, as we have seen in the zones, coastal plains. In these coastal plains, you can get 7 AUs, agroecological units, southern coastal plains, northern coastal plains, then the Onatugara sandy plains, then of course the famous Kuttanad, Pokali, Kol, and Kaipad lands. These are 7 agroecological units under coastal plain. Kerala, being under tropical climate, the pedogenic process is laterization or fertilization, leaching of bases and accumulation of iron and aluminium, leaching of silica. So, most of the soil, almost more than 70% of Kerala soils comes under laterite and lateritic, and this is well established as the central plains, which is mainly laterites. Within this laterite, based on the rainfall and other climatic factors, you can see slight variations between the 4 agroecological units under midland laterites. One is southern laterite, south central laterite, north central laterite, and finally northern laterites. These laterites are slightly different. So we have seen coastal plains, midlands. Now coming to the foothills. The foothills means the base portion of the Western Ghats, where all the leached parts from the high hills are coming and deposited, and most of the year it will be moist because high rainfall throughout, almost 7 to 8 months rainfall we will get in these regions. So that is the most fertile land, and because of this rainfall and vegetation, laterization is slightly prevented or slowed down in these foothills. That is why they are fertile land. Also alluvial accumulation from the rivers. So 2 are the foothills, southern and central foothills, and northern foothills are the agroecological units under foothills. Now coming to the Western Ghats and high hills, the agroecological units are starting from the south, southern high hills, northern high hills, a slightly varying climate in Kumuli hills, then the rain shadow area of Marayur hills, then Attapadi hills. Again, the rain shadow area of Attapadi comes under Attapadi dry hills. Then the Wayanad plateau, Wayanad central plateau and Wayanad eastern plateau. The difference between the high hills in Idukki district and Wayanad is the continuation of the Deccan plateau. Once you come from the plains to the heights, then it is again without any slope, it is a plain as the plateau definition satisfies. Finally, as I said, entirely different, almost a semi-arid climate, just like that of the nearby Coimbatore district or Pollachi area with low rainfall. That area comes under Palakkad district, Palakkad central plain and Palakkad eastern plains. So these are the 23 agroecological units. I told it is a macro watershed. Of this, these 23 agroecological units are there which are varying in climate, topography, slightly in soil, the crops, everything. So there should be specific management practices based on the agroecological units, or rather you can say the management of soil should be agroecological unit based. Even crops are varying. You can see tea or cardamom or coffee, pepper in high hills, in foothills. Almost all the spices and condiments and coconut, rubber, nutmeg, all these things are there. Then coming to the plains, you can see coconut and some of the brown hydromorphic paddy soils. I told 41 rivers are flowing from high hill to low area or Arabian Seas. Before falling into Arabian Sea, they are converging and flowing as the lakes. which is actually sandwiched between the midland laterite and the coastal plains. These lakes, say for example, Ashtamudi, Vembanad Lake, then of course the Pokali area, then in Ernakulam district, Kollands in Trichur and Malappuram district, and the northern districts from Kozhikode to Kasaragod, the Kaipad areas. These areas are unique. Some of them, especially Kol and Kuttanad, are Ramsar sites. These are soils or rather water bodies lying below mean sea level, and cultivation in Kuttanad or Kol is managed under water situation below mean sea level. So instead of irrigating before starting the crop, you have to drain the water by pumping it out. And if the bunds are open, water will flow towards the paddy lands because paddy lands are below mean sea level. So now let us see how the soil can be managed under Kerala conditions. A surface soil to form just a 1 inch thickness or 2.5 centimeter thickness, it may take 800 or 1000 or even more than that years. But a heavy rainfall to the naked surface of the soil will cause leaching away, or rather runoff water will take off all the surface soil within no time to the Arabian Sea. So annual soil loss, if you examine, in India it is estimated that 16.35 tons per hectare, whereas in Kerala it is almost 17.73 tons per hectare. So the most important management practice is soil conservation. That means we have to essentially prevent the soil from getting lost by erosion, because without soil you cannot think of managing the soil. So first protect the soil with minimum tillage. Always the soil surface should be covered in the form of mulches, preferably organic mulches. Then of course you can go for conservation measures like contour bunding, contour cultivation, bench terracing, alternately growing erosion permitting and erosion resisting crops. Such things you can practice, and then only you can think of improving the health or fertility of soil. Earlier, from farmers' point of view, we talk about soil fertility. What is fertility? Fertility means the ability of the soil to supply the essential nutrients required for plant growth in right quantity, at right time, and in right proportion. These three criteria should be satisfied. But now, rather than fertility, we are talking about soil health. Why it is so? Because soil has got multiplicity of functions in nature, especially in an ecosystem where human being is also a component. In that ecosystem, more than anything else, soil plays the central role. Take 1 spoonful of soil, it may contain microorganisms which will be many times more than the total population of human being in this world. That is the beauty of soil. Then of course, whichever life is there in this earth, everything will get the essential mineral nutrients and water from the soil. So plants act as a bridge, because plants require only 17 essential elements, of which carbon, oxygen and hydrogen will be obtained from carbon dioxide and oxygen from the atmosphere as well as from water. Whereas the other essential elements, of course in different quantities, are obtained from the soil. And those elements or nutrients which are not required by plants are also being absorbed by the plants, and that will be supplied to the other higher up chains of the living system. From the plants it may go to animals, and animals to humans. So it is a continuous bridge starting from soil, plant, animal, human continuum. So for any life to be existing in this nature, soil is essential. That is number one function of soil. Soil has got many other functions, like it is filtering unwanted materials from preventing it to get into the groundwater and get it polluted. Then of course it is retaining the nutrients and water in its pores and clay surfaces and supplying it to the plants according to the needs. Then of course many of the unwanted things are detoxified especially pesticides or other toxic materials, may be detoxified by the microorganisms in the soil. Then, of course, on the soil only you can make buildings, roads, or bridges. That is also a function of soil. We are now talking about food security, nutritional security, energy security, carbon security, water security. Whatever security you talk of, from soil security only these securities can be attained. So soil security and maintaining and improving the health of soil in a sustainable way is the most important thing with respect to soil health or fertility management. Now, we have completed the status of Kerala soils and we have seen what is the agroecology of Kerala soil. I think we will wind up this part now, and in the next part we will be discussing more about the problems of these soils and how to manage these problems.